I know I put my keys right here just 5 minutes ago. Why can't I remember the name of that neighbor I've known for 20 years? Am I losing it? Is this the beginning of the end? If you've ever found yourself staring at a familiar object and struggling to name it, or walking into a room and feeling completely blank about why you are there, you know exactly how terrifying those quiet moments can be. It is the fear that keeps so many of us up at night, the fear that these slips in memory are the first permanent steps toward dementia or Alzheimer's. But what if I told you that the brain fog, the confusion, and the memory lapses you are experiencing might not be a disease at all? What if your brain isn't broken, but simply starving? It is a reality that happens far more often than doctors admit. As we age, our bodies change how they absorb and process nutrients, and sometimes a simple lack of a specific fuel can cause symptoms that look exactly like dementia but are completely reversible. In this video, we are going to uncover the 5 specific vitamin deficiencies that could be secretly sabotaging your memory and focus. And most importantly, we are going to show you exactly what to eat and do to get your sharp, clear mind back. Before we dive into these life-changing solutions, if you care about staying healthy, independent, and sharp well into your golden years, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. We share the kind of deep dive senior health tips that usually get glossed over in a standard checkup. And I have a question for you. I am always amazed by how far our community reaches. So are you watching from the United States, the UK, Canada, or somewhere else entirely? Drop a comment below with where you are from, because I love seeing how we are all in this together. Now, let's get into the first and perhaps the most critical item on our list. This is the one that doctors call the Great Mimicker, because its absence looks almost exactly like Alzheimer's disease. We are talking about vitamin B12. You might have heard of it for energy, but for your brain, it is so much more than that. Think of your nerves as electrical wires that carry messages from your brain to your body and back again. Just like a wire needs a rubber coating to stop the electricity from fraying or shorting out your nerves, have a protective coating called the myelin sheath. Vitamin B12 is the factory manager responsible for building and repairing that coating. When you don't have enough B12, that protective coating starts to erode. The signals slow down. The messages get garbled. You might feel tingling in your hands or feet, which is a classic sign, but in your brain, it manifests as heavy fog, confusion, and memory loss. Here's the tricky part about aging. You might be eating plenty of meat or eggs, which are rich in B12, but your body might have stopped absorbing it. As we get older, our stomach acid levels naturally drop, and we need that acid to unlock B12 from our food. It is a cruel irony that you could be eating a healthy diet and still be starving your brain. So what can you do about it? First, look at your plate. Clams, liver, trout, and salmon are powerhouses here. But if you have digestive issues or are over 60, relying solely on food might not be enough because of that absorption issue I mentioned. Talk to your doctor about getting your levels checked, and ask specifically about a methylcobalamin supplement or even B12 shots if you are very low. It is incredible to see the lights come back on in someone's eyes once their B12 levels are restored. It is like waking up from a long, bad dream. Moving on to the second nutrient on our list. This one is often ignored because we tend to think of it only when we talk about bones, but it is actually a potent neurosteroid that protects your brain cells. I am talking about vitamin D. We call it the sunshine vitamin, but for many seniors, it is the missing link in cognitive health. There are receptors for vitamin D all over your brain, especially in the areas responsible for memory and mood. When levels drop low, research shows a direct correlation with cognitive decline and something called executive dysfunction, which is just a fancy way of saying you struggle to plan, organize, or focus. The problem is that as we age, our skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. You could spend the same amount of time in the garden as you did when you were 30, but your body is producing half the amount of the vitamin. Plus, if you have mobility issues and are spending more time indoors, you are getting a double hit. Many seniors also start to feel a deep mood shift or depression, which can often be misdiagnosed as dementia, but is actually just a severe lack of vitamin D. To fix this, try to get safe sun exposure for about 15 to 20 minutes a day, but we know that isn't always possible, especially in winter or depending on where you live. This is where fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines come in again. Egg yolks and fortified foods help too, but for many of us, a supplement is necessary. Just remember that vitamin D loves company. It works best when taken with a little bit of fat like avocado or yogurt, and it often needs vitamin K2 to make sure it goes to the right places. Imagine your brain coming out of the shadows and into the light. That is what normalizing your vitamin D can feel like. If you are finding these tips useful so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps spread the word to other seniors who might be worrying about their memory unnecessarily. And if you haven't yet, do subscribe for more little-known health insights. We are just getting started on this list. Now let's talk about the third deficiency, which is rarely discussed but is absolutely vital for the energy centers of your brain. This is thiamine, or vitamin B1. Your brain is a hungry organ. Even though it is small, it uses up a huge chunk of the glucose or sugar energy in your body. Thiamine is the key that unlocks that energy. Without it, your brain cells are like a car with a full tank of gas but no spark plug. They simply cannot run. Severe deficiency leads to something called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which is often associated with alcohol use, but mild deficiency is rampant in the senior community simply due to diet. We see something called the tea and toast syndrome, where seniors, perhaps due to dental pain or just lack of appetite, start living on simple carbs like white bread, sweet biscuits, and tea. These high sugar foods increase the brain's need for thiamine while providing none of it. So you are essentially bankrupting your brain's energy account. You feel fatigued, irritable, and you simply cannot form new memories. The turnaround here can be miraculous. You need to reintroduce foods that are rich in thiamine, and luckily they are delicious. Pork is one of the best sources, but if you prefer plant-based options, look at sunflower seeds, beans, and lentils. Even a simple bowl of oatmeal or swapping that white toast for whole grains can start to reverse the deficit. Think of thiamine as the spark that ignites your thinking. You want that fire burning bright, not flickering out because of a diet of empty calories. This flows perfectly into our fourth vital nutrient, which works hand in hand with B12. It is folate, also known as vitamin B9. You might know this one from pregnancy advice, but it is just as crucial for seniors. Here is the science made simple. Your body produces a waste product called homocysteine. High levels of this waste product are toxic to the brain. They damage the blood vessels and kill brain cells, leading to shrinkage of the brain itself. Folate is the cleanup crew. It breaks down that toxic homocysteine and renders it harmless. When you don't have enough, folate, the trash, piles up in the streets of your brain. The circulation gets clogged and inflammation sets in. This often presents as agitation, confusion, and depression. Now, here is the catch with folate. It is very sensitive to heat. Many of us grew up boiling our vegetables until they were soft and easy to chew, but that unfortunately kills a lot of the folate. The name folate comes from the word foliage, meaning leaves. So your best friends here are dark leafy greens like spinach, kale, and collard greens, but also beans, peas, and lentils. The trick is preparation. Try to lightly steam your greens rather than boiling them to death, or incorporate raw spinach into a smoothie if chewing is difficult. By keeping those greens vibrant, you are keeping your brain vibrant. It is a simple swap in the kitchen that pays dividends for your memory. And finally, we arrive at number 5, a nutrient that regulates the very chemicals that let you feel happy and calm, vitamin B6. This vitamin is the master builder of neurotransmitters, specifically serotonin and dopamine. When B6 is low, you don't just get memory issues, you get a distinct change in personality. You might feel more anxious, more on edge, or just generally foggy. It is that feeling of having a word on the tip of your tongue but being too tired to find it. B6 deficiency also weakens your immune system, making you more susceptible to infections, which in seniors can cause sudden delirium. So keeping B6 levels high is like keeping your brain's communication center fully staffed. The good news is B6 is found in hearty, comforting foods. Chickpeas are fantastic, so a little hummus on your crackers is a great brain snack. Bananas, potatoes with the skin on, and poultry like chicken or turkey are also excellent sources. It is ironic, isn't it? We spend so much money on expensive brain training games and worry about genetics, yet the solution might be sitting right there in the produce aisle or the butcher shop. By adding a banana to your breakfast or having a side of chickpeas, You are literally feeding the chemical messengers that keep you being you. So let's take a breath and recap what we have learned, because I know this is a lot of information to take in. You are not helpless in the face of aging. If you are feeling that fog, remember the big five: vitamin B12 for your nerve coating, vitamin D to protect your neurons and mood, thiamine to spark the energy, folate to take out the toxic trash, and vitamin B6 to keep your communication lines open. These aren't just vitamins, they are the building blocks of your independence. It might feel a bit unsettling to learn all this, to think that maybe your diet has been letting you down. But remember, knowledge is power. Now that you know you can make simple changes, you don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Maybe tomorrow you just add a handful of sunflower seeds to your yogurt. Maybe you swap your white bread for whole wheat. Maybe you sit on the porch for 10 minutes to soak up the sun. These small acts are acts of rebellion against decline. I know getting older is hard. The aches, the pains, the fear of losing your mobility or your memories, it can be scary and discouraging. But you are not alone in this, and it is not too late to turn things around. Every small step you take, every better food you choose, every good habit you build is strengthening your mind and your future freedom. One meal, one step at a time. You are taking charge of your health. Growing older might be inevitable, but growing weaker doesn't have to be. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these tips surprised you the most? Do you suspect you might be low on any of these? Share your story or any questions in the comments below. I read every single one, and we all learn from each other. Your experience might be the exact encouragement someone else needs to read today. And if this video helped you or opened your eyes even a little, please hit the like button. It means a lot to me personally, and it helps this video reach other seniors who need to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important health insights that could improve. If you are still with me and determined to stay strong, type the number 1 in the comments to affirm it. Stay strong, stay healthy, and remember, your independence is carried by your choices. Keep taking those small steps for your health. They add up to giant strides in your freedom.